R-1 School Board, and I'm going to ask that you refer to those rules of decorum again on the back of your agenda, and also at this time silence your cell phones. Appreciate that. The first order of business tonight is that we need to approve the election results. So the election results were attached. Do I have a motion to approve the election results as presented? Moved by Ms. Peck. Second by Ms. Goodwin Clark. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Seeing none, the election results passes unanimously. Now I'm going to turn the board meeting over to Ms. Walker. Ms. Walker is going to swear in our board members that were re-elected. Oh, we'll just have you two stand in front of them.
Oh yeah, I do. Think out of the way.
Raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I, Stacy Early,
I, Andy Roberts,
agree to faithfully perform
agree to faithfully perform
the duties of the office of board member
the office of board member
for the Cameron R-1 Public Schools
for the Cameron R-1 Public Schools
located in Cameron, Missouri, and to support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and any laws made
and any laws made
pursuant thereto,
and
will faithfully demean myself in office. Thank you. Congratulations.
And then at this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Dr. Robinson, who will help us reorganize the board.
Yeah, we do this every April, reorganization of the board. Do I have a nomination for the president of the Board of Education?
I nominate Andy Roberts for president of the board.
Okay, we have a nomination for Andy Lockridge. Do I have any other nominations? Okay. All right. Then, seeing none, Andy?
And then does Andy do the vice president?
Andy does the vice president.
Yes.
Okay, do I have nominations for the vice president?
I'd like to nominate Ryan Murphy for vice president.
Okay, we have a nomination for Ryan Murphy. Do we have any other nominations? Okay. Seeing none, congratulations, Ryan. And we need to,
Before we appoint the MSBA delegate, I just want to say that, as you all know, Pam Ice has served as vice president and president for several years when public education has had so many challenges, not excluding our own district. And you have served what is supposed to be I'm missing the word, but you have served in a position that is not supposed to be a full-time job. It's supposed to be a volunteer position and has turned into a full-time job. And you have served with grace, incredible patience, and competency. And this board, along with this district, gives you our deepest respect and gratitude.
we need to appoint our MSBA delegate. Do I have a nomination for the MSBA delegate?
I would nominate Jackie Peck.
And I'd like to nominate Stacy Early.
We have a nomination.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Any other nominations? All right. So,
I'd like to withdraw. Your nomination for me.
So declining
Did
your
you arm
nomination?
wrestle or something?
No, I beat her, man, that's not
Okay, so Ms. Peck has withdrawn her name.
Yes.
So we have Mrs. Early is nominated. Any other nominations?
Okay.
Okay. Seeing none, congratulations, Mrs. Early. And so- Okay. Now let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone back. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The mission of the Cameron R-1 School District is to educate and empower our students to reach their full potential. And the vision of the Cameron R-1 School District is to offer an exceptional educational experience. With that in mind, we'll proceed with the meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the proposed agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Clark, second by Mrs. Ice. Any discussion? Everyone in support, raise your hand, right hand. Right, motion passes. Consent agenda, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Early, second by Mr. Grenier. Everyone in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion passes, consent agenda is passed. Okay, on to non-action reports. The first one, cell phone, I actually asked to have on there.
Yes.
Did you have anything or?
Well, I will just add that there's actually legislation still working through the House and Senate as far as cell phone policies. It looks like ours is at least gonna be above the law currently at this point in time, but we don't know how many more amendments and what they'll try to add to that or not add to that. So, but I think the state of Missouri actually, I think it's actually a nationwide push for more cell phone restrictions. And so obviously we put ours into place, what, 2 years ago? So probably ahead of the game, but I know there's still legislation pushing through for Missouri, so.
And I asked for this to be on the agenda just because I'd like the board to talk about this topic maybe throughout the summer, consider what we see as the appropriate policy for the Cameron School District, what we would like to set down as the rules. I think sometimes legislation is a mental bar, and so maybe wait for what the legislature does in Missouri and then see what we think. I've been reading a book called The Anxious Generation, and it speaks to the impact of cell phones and devices on kids' learning experience, which I do think translates into the classroom for us, and so it is something I think we should be paying attention to. And so really not anything to act on this time, but just wanted to hear your thoughts on whether that would be an appropriate topic for us to tackle over the next few months, and then maybe come into the fall with something
Absolutely.
that we know we can put in the handbooks or whatever.
And I
beforehand.
think talking to the building admin and getting their input, because they're there every day, so.
Right.
See what they think would be.
Just real quickly, an anecdote. Yes, an anecdote. A story. People in our church were talking with youth about, things at school. And it was after a particular act of violence in a school. And the assumption was, and you would think, the assumption is that kids live in fear of violence in a school. I think we all do. But they actually said they're more afraid of being videotaped doing something silly and having it shared on Facebook. They're more afraid of that than violence. That is a sign that we need to really take seriously the idea that a camera everywhere is not good for kids.
Right.
So I agree, thank you.
One of the data points in this book that I've been reading, it speaks to even the location of a cell phone in relation to where a student is sitting. If it's in the bag in the classroom versus sitting outside of the classroom doors, it impacts their ability to take a test. So I think that we need some data-based research to back up what we're going to do. and what our position is, but if the board is on board with that, I would propose that we focus on that over the next few months so we have something ready for the fall.
And I've reached out to a couple of school districts that have even more stricter cell phone policies than we do, and so I think I can, like one of them was Cape Girardeau, which I believe has zero tolerance, like one of the strictest cell phone policies in all of Missouri, and so I reached out to their board president, so I think we can continue that communication or that conversation with him. He was very open.
Right.
So, and Stewartsville did a zero tolerance cell phone policy this last year too, so.
And at the same time, still making sure that parents can get a hold of their kids if they need to. I mean, my parents could get a hold of me at my school before we had cell phones, so I think we could probably do it again. So want to recognize that that is a tool, and we don't want to get in the way of technology, but at the same time, it can hinder what we're doing. So
I do think there's a lot more research out now how it actually affects a child's ability to learn. And I think if we focus on that and why we need to get our kids back focused on education and learning, and the distraction is really interfering with their ability to absorb information and to set and study and grasp the concept. So I think there's some solid research coming out now. We didn't know.
right.
We
Right.
don't know until you start to know, and when you know.
Yeah, it's a giant experiment. We're living an experiment.
I think that Jackie had a great idea of getting the administration involved. Just, I mean, they know what's going on in the buildings, to where if we can kind of hone that in and kind of make a tie with that, we can really gain a lot of ground.
I agree with that for sure. This would not be something where I think we should be saying from above, hey, here's what you're going to do. I think that's
Right.
definitely something we want to get the input of the buildings and make sure we're all kind of on the same page as we go forward. So, okay. All right. Anything else on cell phone? Okay. Legislative update?
Yeah, I've got a couple of ones that I wanted to address this evening. House Bill 711, which is open enrollment, is continuing to move. I did not see this morning if it was voted out of the committee, but if it is, then that means it'll be up for possible vote in the Senate next week. Still a lot of questions on that. Some of the other ones I wanted to kind of talk about were, I don't think anybody loves taxes. I don't think anybody's going to say they love taxes. And unfortunately, we are a tax-based entity. We get so much of our money from the tax bases, whether it be from personal property or your homes or your income tax, or even when you go buy a gambling ticket, that money goes back towards schools. And so, until they come up with a better system, that is the system we're living in, and that's the system we're going to have to play in. But there's a lot of bills right now that are looking at reducing those, which is going to continue to put strains on revenues. Senate Bill 599 relates to property taxes, reducing it, setting reassessment at different, at one rate. House Bill 629 has to do with personal property taxes as well. There's one working in the Senate, one working in the House. House Bill 816 modifies motor vehicle assessment. This isn't actually too bad a bill. It kind of starts kicking out some of the ones as they get older. I mean, there's some things that we're probably not collecting on that. The only time we've ever really made ever collected money on a used vehicle was during COVID, and nobody was doing it, so used vehicles actually raised in prices to where they were reassessed. People actually paid more. We've only had that happen, I think, once, maybe twice in the history, so not a horrible bill at that point in time. House Bill 594, though, allows deduction 100% of any capital gains on individual state income taxes, and this could be a hit of almost $429 million that could come out of general revenue. And so that could be huge, not only for schools, but any entity in the state of Missouri. Let's see, the other one, they are still working on the 25-26 budget. Originally last year when they passed Senate Bill 727, there was a lot of provisions in there. One of them was that they were going to raise the state adequacy target which currently is $6,760 to $7,145, which would require an additional $300 million. Governor Keogh did not like that. Wanted to go back to the $6,760. And so right now, that's what passed the House, but the Senate is arguing on trying to put that $300 million back in. At the same time, knowing that the state of Missouri is down on tax revenues compared to where they were a year ago. We'll see what happens. Obviously, today was tax day. We'll see what happens in a couple weeks, whether those revenues will get back to normal or if we'll still be down. And then as part of that budget right now, there was $50 million for education savings accounts, which were pretty much vouchers. This might be one of the first, but they're looking at taking that directly out of the general budget. Currently, that's paid with tax credits, so people can buy those tax credits. That's how it pays for the $50 million. But if we do this, it'll be pretty much $50 million paid for by public funds for people to go use for private. So, public monies. So, then there's one other bill I want to bring up, and it's Senate Bill 360, which would makes a couple changes, requires the State Board of Education to develop a new summative assessment system, still satisfies the requirement of federal law. However, the state is prohibited from using assessment results for state accountability purposes. There's some that are on both sides of this. It would also allow school districts to create, purchase, or adopt a local assessment system that measures student growth throughout the year, which we already do with NWEA, which we think is a better measure of where students are at than a one-time test that we're all getting ready to take right now. So just a couple things working through, not a lot of time left in the, so anything that's not already pretty much getting committee hearings and then voted out, probably at this point is almost going to be dead upon arrival. So, and actually by the time we meet next month, all this will be settled. So we will find out what the legislators have done.
I wanted to tell you, I had someone in the community tell me how much they appreciate the legislative update as part of the board information that we give out. They really like to listen to that. They're not able to attend the meeting, but they do listen closely to that legislative.
There's a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, this is obviously just education. I mean, there's everything. So.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Moving on to administrative reports, special services.
I have a few things. So the first thing I want to share is a thank you to the Elks Lodge. They donated $100 to our wiffle ball event that took place yesterday. We will be sharing out some photos of the wiffle ball. We had 5 teams, 6 to 8 if you count cameras, 2 teams. Great day. Weather wasn't the best. It was a little bit chilly, a little bit windy, but no complaints. Kids were all active. It was a great day. Special thank you to a lot of people. Adam and Andy were runners all day. Valerie, Jason, and Derek helped with grilling and wrapping hot dogs. We had Richard, Barry, and Courtney Mans come out and help. Gina took pictures. Brittany took pictures. The baseball team. Some of the football coaches helped put up tents and brought out coolers and water, and so it took a lot of people, that's what I'm saying, but it was a great event. We have received 2 emails back from other districts already saying what a great job our boys did. They are in awe of the fact that our kids are actively participating, and I think we have some video that Gina will share out, like our kids are running the bases with the kids and like active the entire time, and you don't see that when you go to other events. So kudos to our baseball team. It's a really fun, special event. So I think Jason enjoyed grilling. At one point you could see some kids, like you could see their teeth when we were grilling, you could see their teeth from the field smiling so big. So it was a great event. So, and then we capped off yesterday's wiffle ball tournament with Autism Night at the baseball game, and we did a fundraiser. Not sure exactly how much money because we're still pulling in some of the funds for that, but we are raffling off a custom-made jersey. Actually, Gina won that custom-made jersey, so thank you for that, Gina. So that was great. We had a lot of staff members come out as well to support the kiddos. Kiddos threw out the first pitch with our baseball team and got to take home a ball, and it was a great time. So huge thank you to Justin Simpson, Nate Stockin, Craig Trussell, as well as the baseball team, because it was a lot of fun had by all. The sun did come out for that, so it was kind of nice. I know a couple of you guys were there as well, so thank you for coming out. And then we have our next event is track and field. It's next week. And this year we decided we've had the Fine Arts Frenzy, and so our fine arts students got to help with that. And then we had obviously baseball, wiffle ball, and so our baseball team and softball team got to help with that. We did have 10 softball girls also help. I should mention that. They were great as well. The kiddos loved that as well. So, but for track and field, we put out a survey at the high school, and kiddos got to sign up, or they did an application, I should say, and sign up to participate with track and field. And we had 28 high schoolers apply. So we only needed like 22, so we had to wean some out. We did take the upperclassmen just because they don't have as many chances. But I wanted to read a couple of they had to explain why they would be a good buddy. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting emotional in my own age, but I thought it was pretty sweet that our regular ed students want to be a part of it. Not one of them said to get out of class. So like most people are like, oh, they want to just get out of class. It's not that. I think I'd be a good buddy because I'm friendly and supportive and fun. Being a buddy means encouraging them and being there for them. I want to create an environment that they feel comfortable being themselves and having fun at the same time. This would be a very fun thing for me. And as an athlete, I would get to share the experience that I love and have them with the same sport that I love. So there's a lot of them, and I don't want to cry tonight, so I did that yesterday after the football and autism night. Like I said, I'm getting emotional in my old age, so just ignore me. But we had 28 responses like that yesterday, or not yesterday, but in the last month of kids requesting to be part of it. So what we're doing is making a difference, not just with our special education population, but with our regular population as well. So, which means a lot. So. There's other stuff in there. We did a Empower You where they did some job training, job experiences. That was a lot of fun. And then we're getting ready for map testing, which is not fun. So we have that. So we try to make life fun for everybody. Questions?
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
So how many students are we talking about when we invite from other school districts to participate in one of these activities?
We had 150 students.
Holy cow,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah, we maxed out this year. I don't know that we could handle much more. We were there was a lot. Jason's like, I do a lot of grilling. Valerie's wrapped a lot of hot dogs. There were a lot, but about 150 students total that were involved. So they can bring anybody. We don't follow the Special Olympics guidelines. Special Olympics has a very rigid guideline. You have to have under 70 IQ. You have to have like an intellectual disability. We don't do that because we have some kids, even with our autism night, they may have a really high IQ, but they don't function like that in a classroom setting. And so, and they wouldn't be able to participate in a sport without adult assistance. So we include whoever can and want to attend that would not be able to participate in a regular sport. So, yeah, 150. It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for everybody.
Questions? Thank you guys. And thank you for allowing us to do that. I know it's not easy.
Thank you for doing it.
Love it. Best day of the year.
Good evening.
How are you guys?
I wanted to highlight my growth mindset that I had in my board report. I think that we talk a lot about our scores overall, and I really wanted to drill it down to the greatest change that we have seen this year, and that is with our Tier 3 students. My title team consists of Emily White, Heather Day, and Mary Nab, and they just do a phenomenal job of working with our students who have the greatest deficits to overcome. And this year, I'm really happy to report that in kindergarten, at the time of my report, 100% of our Tier 3 students had mastered 100% of their grade level skills in both phonological awareness and phonemic awareness, if that was appropriate for their age level. So that was a wonderful just accomplishment for those kids. They're working so hard, they have the right resources in place, and I just can't thank the three of them enough for the work that they do. Our teachers are killing it too, helping in all those areas as well. But that day in, day out, working with those kiddos that struggle the most and keeping them motivated and wanting to come back and reach those goals, it takes a lot, and they make it fun, and that's what's important. So I'm very proud of them and everything that they're doing. Our first grade is also killing it. We're celebrating that 100% of all of our students in receiving regular education services in first grade have mastered 100% of all of their foundational reading skills as evidenced by nationally normed assessments. Never has that happened either.
Wow.
So I think we finally we're getting the right resources and we're hitting the right skills and we're just really drilling it down. I thank Dr. Utek for, really pushing us to bring in the letters and we have the new STAR program that has the CBMs that measure all of those different skills. And we're benchmarking the kids more than we ever have and just drilling it down and finding specifically what is it that you don't know and being able to, give them those skills so that they can move and be successful when they get to CIS when we're, really working on fluency and comprehension. So to have all of that and the support of the district and our superintendents, allowing us to have all those resources, it's making a huge difference. I wish I could go back to when I was a reading teacher. I think of the kids that I had then, and I think of the kids that, I've had in the last 11 years here. I wish we could give them all what we're able to give the kids now, but it's exciting. I also wanted to share our early childhood bazaar we held last Thursday night on April 10th. We had several hundred in attendance, and I wanted to thank our teachers, paras, instructional coach, the Cameron Schools Police Department, parents as teachers, again, Title, the Cameron Library. We had volunteers from PTSA that helped us out. MU Extension Office, Kelly Vandeventer, the City of Cameron, LeBrant's Jewelry, and Alpha Eta Kappa, and then Dr. Utek and Dr. Robinson also came and helped serve hot dogs and popcorn, and we just had a great night, had a great turnout. Had our kindergarten screening that night, had all but one student able to attend. If we do have any families out there that missed it, you're still able to get your kindergartner screened. Just call the office at 816-882-1051 and we'll get an appointment for them. Did you have any
Dr.
questions?
Ornsby, you feel like the letters training, other than the hard work, has that been a real game changer?
I think it's wonderful. We were actually doing those things. We started, I came here in 2014 and we implemented in 2015 Foundations Phonics. That was the first step. We're still using that today. And then just as we'd be like, all right, we got that, now what's next? And then it was Hegarty, and we worked on phonemic awareness, and we've added Hegarty writing now, which is all of these programs are very explicitly teaching to the Missouri standards. They're very scripted, so there's a level of support there for the teachers. It doesn't matter whether you're coming in and you're a first year teacher or a veteran teacher, you have that support there. You don't have to guess. Years ago, we went through this phase in education where you were just kind of supposed to learn how to read through osmosis, We went through a phase where we didn't have phonics. Phonics wasn't, appropriate anymore. I think I talked to you about this last year, that Sold a Story podcast that you could watch and kind of get the history of it. But it's just a combination of things, having all those things in place, and then the letters training really just solidifies all of that information that we've been slowly providing our teachers, and gives them the science behind it and makes it all just kind of come together and gives them that extra support they need. They get to meet with other teachers that are in other schools. Usually we're ahead of the game because we've already been working with our PDCs for years now on reaching all of those goals and using all those resources. But I do think it's a great resource, and it's really, they come back and they say they're proud that they're here at Cameron, they're proud of the things that we're doing. Gives them a great sense of accomplishment to be able to share, hey, we're doing this, as they're learning about it. So I think it's just, it's all coming together right now because it took time for all those pieces to all be in the right spot. So, and we're just gonna keep on going. So that's what we do.
And then the transition from Parkview to CIS, when you're transitioning out of the things you're doing, is it, I know it's coordinated, but how does the kid transition through that?
Right now, like we just added the geodes, which is the decodable readers. I talked to you a little bit about that at the beginning of the year. That was really the next step. Like we have the phonics, we have the phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness actually comes first, and then when you get to kindergarten and first grade are doing heavy decodable readers with the geodes. Second grade still doing decodable readers, but then you start phasing them off when they have all those skills. And then when they transition to CIS, they should be reading more and more complex text, working on their comprehension and fluency to become more fluent readers and be able to take these, you know, lovely map tests that we're assigned every year. So it's a process. You can't work on fluency and comprehension if you don't have the basic reading foundational skills met. So I think that Mrs. Rucker has a very strong grasp on all that and is working to do the same in her building, which I'm sure she'll love to share. So it's just
Also, one of the coolest things I think we do happens on Arbor Day.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just the planting of the trees for the classes, we still point out, you know, my son's class's tree and that's a really neat thing. I noticed that's coming up on April 25th,
Yeah.
so.
We like to do things that get the kids out and
Yeah.
feel like they're a part of the community and feel pride in our school, and that's a great way to do both. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Rucker.
Hello, good evening. Just had a couple things I wanted to add to the board report. Our last community partnerships we've had since last time I saw you, it was on April 4th. Just what a blessing I think that was to our kids in our community this year, and so I want to say thank you to all of our partners that came in. So hopefully they were as blessed as we were. PTSA, I want to give a shout to them for Glow Night. That's always a popular thing at CIS, and one of the things last year our fifth graders said that they hoped that never went away. So I know it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time for our PTSA people, so I wanted to say thanks to them. And then last but not least, CIS is tired tonight. We started MAP today. It's a beast. I'll just say it's a beast. We started with ELA session 1 today. For 4th grade, that's the writing prompt. So 4th grade has more sessions than 3rd and 5th because of the writing prompt. But we take breaks for lunch, for recess, and for specials. We start first thing in the morning, and by 2 to 2:15, I finally had to call a halt tonight. So we're tired, kids are tired. But I want teachers and kids to know that we see you, no matter how hard this is. Like, we work and we work and we work, and our kids work and our parents work, and here it is. And I see them and I'm proud of them. And the work today was phenomenal, and this was day 1. So by week 3, if we're laying outside, just leave us be. I promise you, somebody has the children. But super proud of our teachers. It's hard work, guys, it's hard work. And sometimes it feels a little debilitating. The test that for ELA 4th grade writing, the maximum estimated time was 100 minutes. So take my day minus recess, lunch, and specials. I promise you that's way more than 100 minutes. We had kids working today, and they did it for us. So just want to say we're tired, CIS is tired, we have day 1 down, and we'll pick it back up tomorrow. But appreciative of all the parents understanding to try to schedule things outside of MAP testing. I've got 6 or 7 kids already we have to do makeup on, and it just takes more time and more manpower to get that done, because we have a deadline with state that we have to do. So anyway, I see them all, I'm proud of them all. Teachers were really happy with the focus of the students today for that period of time, and it's a lot, so keep us in your prayers, please.
Question about their writing prompt. Does that mean the test gets sent to the state and they hand grade them, or?
Yeah, anything that's constructed response with written out answers or the writing prompt is yes.
That's a big, I know, we had the opportunity to be a community partner and we were in a fourth grade class. And so the last time we were with that class, we just sat down and we just had a heart-to-heart with the kiddos, and that's a big transition. This is the first time that they feel the pressure of actually writing something out. And I assured them that it wasn't on them, that their teacher just needed to report back to the board. So I told them, I said, you do your best, and when you're done, you tell your teacher what you understood and what you didn't understand, and then just have them bring it back to the board.
Yeah.
It's on us, not on them, so.
Which is part of the reason it takes probably till August to get results back, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be excited to see what they say. I couldn't ask for anything but their best, and that's what they gave us today, so
They're great.
that's where we are.
Yeah,
Hang in there.
Yeah,
We will. It'll be fun.
thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Stickle.
Good evening.
Sure.
I wore it just for you. So, some high notes here and a thank you. First off, I'd like to thank Dr. Robinson and the board and the administration just for allowing, I'm part of the Missouri Leadership Development System. I get to mentor other principals. Today I was at a meeting, and I think sometimes those meetings are great PD because the mentors get just as much out of it as the mentees, but also you get a chance to talk to other principals. And I think one of the things that we always talk about this time of year is staffing. And I forget how fortunate we are here that we have people that want to come work here. And sure, staffing is always going to be tough around the board, but I sat at a table today during one of our sessions when we talked about staffing, and there was a principal that has 11 uncertified staff in his building for next year. And I've got another one that I'm a mentor of. He's got 6 uncertified staff in his building out of 16 teachers. So I think, I'm not saying that to be negative. It's like I'm appreciative of where we're at. We're in a lot better spot than other people, and I think we focus on the negative too much, become awfulizers. And I thought to myself on the drive home this afternoon, I was thinking about, man, we're really lucky. We could be in a real world of hurt. So I was very thankful of that when I walked out of there today. But I'll tell you what, the future is bright in Missouri. There's a lot of great young administrators out there that I was really impressed with over the course of this year. Wanted to bring up a couple positive. We have the Lawson Art Festival for our middle schoolers coming up. We've had they prejudge a lot of those things, so we know that Bailey Myers, she got first place in the 3D art. Jason Bailey got third place in his discipline, and then Kay Leeper was at the MAEA state conference this last weekend, and she actually, one of the coolest things that they do at their conference is they display art, their own art, and they compete amongst each other. So I just think that's really cool. I don't know if they have any other conference where they do that. And she finished second place in a fiber self-portrait competition. So I just thought that was really cool and wanted to bring that up. I think when teachers can use their passions and express themselves like that, that's really cool. An update to your board report. I think in the board report I had that we were we've been tracking the minutes that our kids are reading in school, and I think it was at 750,000 minutes. Well, an update as of 1:40 p.m. on Monday, we are at 829,417. So with map testing coming up, there's an opportunity for our kids to read once they complete with map testing. We might make 1 million, and I think at the beginning of the year our goal was like 250,000. So we far exceeded that. So that's been really cool. Probably the last thing is just we've completed most of our data collection off our NWEA. We saw a lot of improvement in terms of where our kids started to where they finished. We'll have, Miss Lim and I are pretty close to being done. We'll do a lot of individual growth comparison here this next week to see where kids as individuals ended up in the 3 disciplines we test in. We always want to see greater growth than we have, but the biggest thing I'm proud of this year is that we've revamped our program. We've made a lot of adjustments on the way, worked out a lot of kinks, and I feel really proud of where we're at and the direction we're heading. So that's just something that I wanted to mention. I think we're making strides and we're using data in the way that we need to, and I think that's something that's been a focus of us this year, and really we've gotten better at. So I think that's it. Any questions?
The attendance is up 6%?
Yep, we've come back around. We had a little rough patch there, and we're starting to build back up, so that's been positive. It's lower than we want it to be, but we had a couple of things pop up, and then with some of those snow days and things, that's hurt us a little. But we're coming around. I think we're going to be okay. Not where we want to be, but we're building back. So yeah.
I appreciate that you did a shout out to the kitchen and the custodial
Oh,
staff. And just the times that recently that I've been in the CIS building and then your building, I can vouch that your kitchen staffs, both of them, both buildings, smile, say hi every time I'm around there. And then just with sporting events, the custodial staff, like on the weekends too, when we've had events, like at the volleyball tournament.
Maintenance has been crushing it
They-
last month. They've been
Incredible.
crushing it. It's been awesome. I've been really impressed with them. They've really stepped to their game. This time of year, you know, your buildings are getting older and light switches are going out and things like that. They don't miss a beat. They're in there taking care of it, getting it done right away. Teacher playing periods, they're in there doing it. So, I mean, they don't waste any time. So that's been awesome. But we've got a great group. I
It
mean,
takes
we
a
really do.
village to even.
That building will be 10 years in December, is that right?
It was 10.
10.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a year behind. That's
Mr. Fisher, like we were talking to Mr. Fisher's
I
office
guess
the other
actually
day.
we're starting our 10th year, so.
Okay.
And he pulled up a construction photo, and it was
Yeah.
kind of funny. He should not be allowed to wear a hard hat. It's not a good look for him. It's a good thing he's a school principal. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Mr. Erdman.
10 years this December, right? Fact checking
It
you.
opened
December of 2015.
2015, so we're starting our 10th year, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this December. Well, this December would be,
Yes.
yeah.
I don't know why I remember, it was December 6th. 7th, that's my anniversary, that's why.
Good evening. Sorry, sidetracked there. Wanted to highlight a couple of things from my board report. Mr. Huckabee, first year chemistry teacher here with us this year. Very fortunate to have him. He took a group of kids to their first chemathon last Friday, and when they came back, they were smiling ear to ear. They were excited that they, with the medals they brought back and how they represented Cameron. Cy Wilkinson and Gain and Hamilton won their matchup in the Ken Games. Cy Wilkinson, Carly McLeod, Gia Patel, and Kylie Watson placed fourth in the medium and large school quiz bowl competition. And then Kylie placed third individually and Gainan placed second. So super excited for them and super proud of their efforts over there. I know Mr. Huckabee, he's already ready for next year. So another thing I wanted to highlight that we've been talking about really since Dr. Lanigan and I have came to the high school is our community service cleanup day. Got some feedback from teachers, took it to our leadership team, and then we discussed it at our staff meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago, possibly, I don't remember. But we are in the planning spaces of that, so maybe we'll be reaching out to some board members for some ideas or even businesses on some ways we can help the community. So, and then a couple things I would like to highlight, not in my board report. Mrs. Bobolko asked me to share that Ireland Williams received the President's Choice Award at the Capitol's Youth Arts Month exhibition. She and Mrs. Bobolka traveled to Jeff City to be recognized, and she earned a $400 check to the art supply store Blick and a basket full of art supplies. So super excited for her. And then to kind of piggyback on that, she emailed me yesterday and she wanted me to share that the art department participated at the 21st annual Lawson Art Show, and we received 8 ribbons. First place drawing, Brennan Stevie. Second place drawing, Peyton Fayville. First place mixed media, Autumn Dotson and Aisley Hurst. Honorable mention mixed media, Ellie Krenz. First place photography, Erson Enlow. Honorable mention photography, Tania Gilliam. Third place sculpture, Rebecca Cook. And then best in the show, Autumn Dotson and Aisley Hurst. She stated that it's been an amazing competition season with 21 ribbons, 11 which being the highest ribbons you can receive. So congratulations to those students for their hard work and dedication for everything they've done this school year. So definitely a busy time at the high school, as you can see with our upcoming dates. I got to look at just my own personal schedule coming up between supervision and events. It's something, and my own kids, it's something about every day between now and May 22nd. So busy. Prom in a couple weeks, and then after prom, it's ready, set, go. So with EOC testing and graduation.
A real jump in attendance, it looks like.
Yes.
Quite a jump.
Yes.
That's great.
I ran before I came after school, and we're actually sitting at 89.4%, or yeah, 89.4. So we are that close to being at 90.
That's great.
So
Wonderful.
kind of an update, 9th grade they've gone up 1% since I did my board report last week. 10th grade's gone up 3%, 11th grade's right there hovering right around that 80, and then 12th grade's at 91.5. So even from a week ago, it's gone up that much. So kudos to Dr. Lane again on staying on top of that. I mean, he works at it tirelessly, so.
Well, so much
Appreciate
at
that.
high school attendance in particular, kids don't have, they have more choice than the young kids do.
Yeah.
So they're there because they
Yep.
want to be.
Yep.
And that's great.
Yep, seeing great things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any questions about the high school activities report? Okay. Dr. Utah?
All right, good evening. All right, well, pretty comprehensive board report this time. One of the things I wanted to point out is how proud I am of what we do with our A+ scholars, because that opportunity is a choice the district makes. And our district makes that choice to invest in not only our students who are in that program, but they also give back to the community when they go and volunteer those 50 hours. They're coming in and out of Parkview, they're coming in and out of CIS, and they're working with siblings or cousins or just kids who look up to them and think, I want to be that someday. So I just think that that's pretty great. And then not only that, but our former graduates just this year earned $63,946. So that was almost the same as last year, which was right around 70,000 or 68,000. So every year that's pretty consistent, which is getting kids to their next iteration after K-12. So anyway, my board report has the 4 pages of our story by the numbers. You got that for the very first time last year and just kind of took something that I'd seen in another district and thought, gosh, that puts everything kind of into one spot. And it's very easy instead of looking at multiple graphs and getting on Desi website, because that's cumbersome. So just a lot of great things to highlight there. In addition, we were a little bit behind in our drills due to the inclement weather, but we have since coming back. We are all set and ready to go. We are back on track 100%. We track that, like I said, in our Raptor system. Those are always scheduled. We have our officers help us out ensuring that those are done with fidelity, and we actually, do pull sometimes the fire drill to see, like, are we following our policies? So not always, and not always at the younger levels, but we recently, what would really happen if, and we had some conversations about things afterwards to say, well, this policy works if, or this works if we have, but what if this is down? And so just, I appreciate the team and their conversation around safety at all times. It's a balance, and we have to make sure kids are safe first. In addition, already gearing up for next year, Dr. Ormsby and I have been working together for a seamless transition. However, we are still utilizing our PD curriculum and assessment team and our administrators, and we got to look at some of our PD surveys, and you can see some common themes in there. And since getting those results, and we appreciate having teachers and their voice being heard to let us know what their needs are. So we see some common themes in there, and those are being looked at. We're putting those into that plan for next year. So that will come your way eventually. And then I don't believe I have really anything else besides congratulations to Dr. Ormsby. So just excited that next chapter will continue. And
Question about
Yes.
the PD survey in high school, the other
yes.
was rather high, and I wondered if there were comments that kind of.
Yes, they did, and they actually were, I would like, so if you understand, and you do, understand, like elementary, we get to teach all subjects. Middle school is kind of where we start to veer away. High school, they become more specialized, and a lot of the comments were, I would like more specialized, in my content area, kinds of things, or maybe, I know
other, like in the area of music or whatever it might be. So just, those were kind of those comments because those aren't typically on there because we don't have a lot of PD we can bring in for those specialization areas, but what we can do is send them to MMEA or things that, you know, we have actually done, and I highlight that in my board report, and I think just this month, so like if you look back to other sections, so we had a new counselor training at Northwest Missouri School Counselors Association. So if you look at some of those are more for when we have some of those one-off trainings. Before we've had like, our fine arts department gets to go to certain ones throughout the year too. So they put that in there because they want that to continue. So it was kind of that summation, so.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for
I love this.
getting everybody ready
It'll be
for,
posted on the website soon.
getting everybody ready, Dr. Utek, for this testing, which you
Well-
can see as we watch this record, the emotion, the high stakesness of it all.
Yeah,
You really,
it takes days and days of instruction
yes.
to complete the assessments.
Yeah.
And these are our, you know, below 10 years old students that have to read 5 passages with 18 questions that then it takes a lot, it does. I would like at some point for, I don't know, us to get a sample test and at some point look at it and see the rigor, because it's not what you think. It's not what we did in school. It's kind of what we did in middle school, right? So the expectations have gone up, and so anyway, I appreciate that, and I just know how hard everyone's worked. There have been a lot of asks in the past couple of years. We've done a lot to get things on track for, you know, curriculum assessment and everything. It's been hard work, and so it's just not personally, but just the team, we're coming together in the district, so I appreciate that.
I talked with Mrs. Crawford last night at the fall game quite a bit about how she and the special ed department prepare their students. I mean, it's even more because those students often rely so much on routine.
Yes.
And when the routine is disrupted, I mean, that can disrupt their whole day. And so how they prepare weeks, months leading up to these tests.
And honestly, we were probably doing more assessing than we needed to. So the leadership team, Dr. Robinson, we looked at our assessments with a real deep dive this year. What are we using, what is important, and what moves the needle for students and staff. So we actually streamlined our assessments, and we'll be sharing that plan very soon.
Thank you.
We're now at the part of our meeting where we will hear from residents of the district. Mr. Dan Landy, if you would approach the podium and introduce yourself for the record from your resident. And you have noticed that you will be speaking about the maintenance building, so if we would ask that you stay on topic, and then you have 5 minutes. And we ask that any remarks about specific personnel or student concerns would be addressed in a closed session. And the audience, we just ask that you would follow the rules of decorum and be respectful of Mr. Landy is speaking.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to start with a prayer, please. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Yes, tonight I'd like to talk about specifically the maintenance building that was proposed in the bond that recently passed. Because I understand that the way I understand it anyway is if money's left over from the other improvements that the school intends to make, the district intends to make, then that money will, some of that leftover money will be used to build a maintenance building. That really wasn't a concern of mine, actually, until about a week ago, I learned that the school district received an offer from a person in the community, well, Dr. Mark Carr, okay, the retired dentist. I learned that he offered to build the school district a new maintenance building in the current spot where the old one sits. Anyway, he had a conversation, the way I understand it, with Dr. Robinson here. And Dr. Robinson at the time declined the offer. And so it just, when I learned that, I was somewhat disappointed because, you know, here you are asking us taxpayers for money for a new maintenance building, and we had a chance to get one for nothing, a brand new one. And so I didn't understand it. I emailed each of you some questions about that. I haven't received any responses back. So I'm here tonight, hopefully to maybe try to get some answers. And I understand we've had this discussion before. This is a one-way conversation. I'm not supposed to ask, and you're, anyway. So I would ask that we maybe discuss this at a later date, possibly at a community engagement meeting where there can be some two-way dialogue, because it's concerning. You know, the questions I have about it, well, for one, did the board know about this? Did Mr. Robinson bring this to the attention of the school board? Did he just nix it at the time, you know, on the spot? I don't know. And it's something I thought that should be brought to the board. And I looked in your policies. I couldn't find anywhere where it talks about gifts to the school district, especially donations of real estate or property. And I did look on the old policies that you all had, that the school district had, was Assembly, I think is, and I don't know if I'm saying it right. But in Assembly, and that was, I think y'all switched to Ed Council about like a year ago or about last summer sometime. Anyway, in Assembly, there was a policy that addressed it, but there's not now. And so that would be something I'd like to bring to your attention. Maybe that's something you can write into that or address, you know, in a meeting amongst yourself. And so those are really my concerns tonight. I think I would like to know, I really believe that the public deserves an answer, because you're asking for our money, and it's really no more than fair. So, on a related note, I don't think the offer stands anymore from Dr. Carr. But maybe that would be something worth pursuing. If he was willing 5 years ago, maybe he'd be willing now. So that might be another opportunity for the school to, you know, re-engage discussions with him about this. And again, I don't know the rules. Maybe you can't solicit, you know, I mean, I know you can't solicit donations, but at least, maybe just have a private talk with him and see if the offer still stands. Because if it does, that would be a win-win for everybody. So that's it. I appreciate your time.
Mr. Landy, I have a question for you. Did Dr. Carr ask you to come speak on his behalf to the board?
Respectfully, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Respectfully, ma'am. I will answer your question if you answer my question.
Did Dr. Carr ask you to come speak on his behalf?
Ma'am, respectfully, I won't answer that until you answer my question. If
Well,
you agree to answer my question.
Well, I'll just tell the community, I did call Dr. Carr when this showed up on the agenda. Dr. Carr did not ask you to come speak on his behalf. And so he was very clear with me that he had asked you to let that go, that had happened years ago, I think prior to any of us being on the board. And so we're looking in the way back. I think Dr. Robinson made a decision, and I don't know if Dr. Carr brought that to the board in closed session under real estate or not at that time, but he did tell me that was
You
off.
can ask this gentleman right here. He
He
was
told
present.
me that was off the table and that he had asked for that conversation, that had been misinterpreted and was misrepresented. So that does concern me because you've come before us numerous times and said someone has told you something.
Yeah.
And I think we hear little bits and pieces, but we don't ever hear the whole story. And so a lot of these things get manipulated and twisted when they come to the board, and they sound like facts when they're not. And that's why I called and confirmed with Dr. Carr if he was asking you to advocate on his behalf. It's really important for the community to understand that what takes place in this boardroom is accurate information. And over the last 2 years, there's been a lot of misinformation presented in the boardroom, and that is not helpful for our staff, for the board, and more importantly, for the 1,550 students that we represent. We don't want to manipulate what we want to push on the backs of those students. So I would say I have a great relationship with Dr. Carr, and Dr. Carr is always welcome to come and speak to the board if he has a proposal like that, and he knows that door is open if he wants to. So I would ask that we try to reduce the amount of twisting and turning that happens with misinformation in the community, because that's not hurting, honestly, me. That's hurting the students of this district, and it's very evident. So I just want to let you know that I did do some research into this. So
Then why did, if you knew the answer to the question, why did you ask him the question?
because I wanted to see if you would be honest with me.
Okay, woo, okay.
So thank you.
Thank you.
If you really want to know about the conversation, why don't you ask the other party that was party to it,
I have. Thank you.
okay? And you can ask Mr. Kircher here, he was school board president at the time when that offer was made. Did he know anything about it? Did Mr. Robinson withhold that information from the board?
Dr. Robinson,
We need to know that.
can I ask you, was the offer made to pay for an entire maintenance building?
No, the offer was to buy land
Okay.
so that somebody could extend their yard, shut down a road, but then the other party was the city, and the city was gonna have to pick up finishing the rest of the road.
Right.
And quite honestly, we would not be able to build a pole barn,
Right.
which is what a normal person can build. I cannot build a pole barn.
So what has been portrayed in the public is that the entire building was going to be made free of cost, and that is inaccurate, is that correct?
That's correct, and that's about way less than what that property was bought for, almost 14 years ago.
Thank you.
Well, I'm prepared to swear on a stack of Bibles that Dr. Carr told me and Mr. Heath Gilbert personally that he offered to build a $30,000 pole barn or maintenance building identical to the one he's got built on his property, because this current dilapidated maintenance building is an eyesore and it's affecting his property because he's right next door to it. So he wanted to build.
Dr. Carr wants to come talk to us.
I wished he would, because apparently he's telling two different stories, or somebody is, because it ain't me. He told Heath and Gilbert and I, and that's why I got it from the horse's mouth. I'm not making this stuff up.
Well, you're forgetting one of the other third party that was a part of that as well.
Well, then maybe we all ought to
Which
get
is the
together and
city.
have a talk.
And I had conversations with them, and they were not exactly on board with changing all the roads and everything else.
Yeah, he was running for city council, which is why he didn't want me to talk about it, because it may affect the passage of the school bond, it may affect his chances of getting elected. That's why he asked me
Mr.
to
Laney,
calm
I think
down.
we've covered. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Any more questions? I'm yours. All right.
All right, moving on to items for consideration, the health insurance quotes.
Yeah, just want to go over real quickly with health insurance quotes. Let's see, just the insurance comparisons, that's the first one I will pull up. You can look at our current plan and how that relates to the one that we've been offered by MEUHP. We ended up with about a 10% increase on ours at this point in time. Actually, in all fairness, that's probably pretty fair with where we're at, that we only have received a 10% increase. They have a tiered system, it's either 1 through 7 or 1 through 8. We were already at tier 4. That moves us to tier 5 because we did not have a very healthy year. And then they had an overall rate increase of 5%. So that's where when you move a tier, you get 5%, and then you get another 5%, and you go, so that's how we end up with almost a 10% increase from our current plan to MEUHP. One of the other things is we have not been very healthy for quite a few years. Last year, we ran a loss ratio of about 160%, but they didn't have enough claims data, so we ended up staying in the same tier. We took their, I think, 4 or 5% increase that they gave everybody. So last year was not too bad, but now that they've got more data on us, 160% is what we were 2 years ago. This year, we're running almost 146% on our loss ratio. And for very simple math, for loss ratio, for every dollar we're contributing, they're spending $1.60 or they're spending $1.46. That's not going to bode well. I know that most of these are not profits, but they still have to earn money. So that puts us in a pretty tough situation. The prior 2 years, they only rated us at 100%, which was dead even. But honestly, we were about 120 to 130% on those 3 previous years. So we've not had very good years when it comes to loss ratio. At the same time, saying that, I've never met anybody that wanted a disease or an illness or something like that. And those things, they happen and they're unfortunate, but they also have an impact on our insurance. One of those other pieces that we are having to deal with as a district, that we're gonna have to stick with MEUHP. As you can see, the other one from Met was very high. It's way out of the realm of us being able to help or pay for, and it would really strap our staff. And then we did not get a bid from OSBA or USI, 2 other companies. So, but one of the other pieces for us to stay with MEUHP, regardless of whether we stayed with MEUHP or not, was that because our loss ratio was so bad in so many other districts, because MEUHP is a pool of about 95, 96 districts around the state of Missouri, and over half of them, 43 I think, or close to half of them, ended up with loss ratios well over 100%, just like us. And so what they did was they kind of pooled those 43 people, and kind of, because they took a lot of money out of the pool, to be honest. And so they hit us with a pretty good sized assessment. The original assessment was $481,000 that we were going to have to pay. If we stayed with MEUHP, we got a 10% reduction, still $433,000 that we had with an assessment. That's one of those ones I don't know that we put back on our staff, but it's definitely going to have an impact on our staff as we go down the road. That's $433,000 we had to pay that we didn't, one that we didn't want to pay, and that 2 that we're going to have to pay to stay with the insurance, because they were pretty open and honest that had we not already been a member, that we wouldn't have been quoted with MEUHP, which would have really put us in a bind.
Do the other districts that have the high loss ratios have the similar assessments?
It all based on how many lives you already had in yours, and so I don't know who all the other districts were. I know that there was very few districts that didn't, in Northwest Missouri, that didn't have an assessment. So, and just, now most of them are smaller, and some of them were not, the assessments were not the same. They had a formula on how they did that, so I know a couple small schools where their assessment was like $16,000 or $25,000, nothing to the degree of $433,000. But there was a couple districts that I was told that had loss ratios of over 200%. So I would imagine that theirs is going to look high compared to them. Ours looks high compared to us. So.
Are we among the larger schools in this pool?
Probably one of the larger schools, yes.
Do you know where we ranked, like in terms of loss ratio?
I have not seen that. I just know that there was 43 other districts had loss ratios over 100, and some of those were in the 2s, and we were at, when they actually ranked ours, they used our 3 years and they counted us at 0, so when it came to our loss ratio, we actually looked like we were only at 121%, which was good, that they only gave us the 100% for the 3 previous years. Otherwise, we may have had to pay more.
So next year, one of the good years drops off for the 3-year.
It could, yes, yeah.
And good years.
Yeah, and we hope that we get healthier. We hope that the rest of the pool gets healthier. We can't continue to pay that. At the same time, I don't think we can come back to our staff and say, well, everybody's got $2,000 extra they've got to pay if you use insurance. I don't think that's right either.
So on the chart, it's the HSA, is that a high deductible plan with a $7,000 deductible?
Yes, it is.
So are those all offered to Cameron employees, or is that just showing the offerings and then we select?
No, those are all offered to Cameron.
Okay, so the employee can choose where they want to fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Last year, we, and as a district, we pay $573 per person per month. So last year, that was able to buy an employee the HSA $5,500 plan. And then
Just
that
for
meant
employees though, right?
just the employee,
Okay.
yes, yeah. Yeah, if you want to buy family plan or add a spouse or whatever, we pay the $573 and then that would be additional, so. And then this is just for the employee. This does not include all the family and all the other things. So if you were at the HSA 7,000 and you have $530, you were actually getting $43 put into your HSA account that you can use towards, doctor or whatever, medical bills. So the 573 was where that was at. I am still debating on the 573 or the 586 for employees, because 586, if you look, is actually it's $13 more per month, which then ends up adding more. And it's just, I've only got this amount of money. Do we want it in salaries? Do we want it in insurance? I met with staff on Friday. I pulled the other salary recommendations for tonight because I don't feel like I've got all the information yet. I'd like to see how we end up in a couple more weeks where we're going to be at before I can come back. I had all the intentions to do that tonight, but I feel like I just needed to step back and look and see how we kind of finish out the year. And because this was obviously a punch in the gut when we got that big assessment. And so just kind of figure out where we're going to need to be to go forward and remain, financially stable.
And then the premiums for the buy-ups, like for the family,
Yes.
were they similar? Was the percentage increase similar? Or was
It's
it-
almost identical, yes. Yeah, it's the 10%, so. It actually ends up being like 10.1 or something like that, but.
How do you feel about this group moving forward? I mean, it sounds like there's a lot more going out than coming in.
I'm worried.
Is this feasible in the future for us?
Well, yeah, I would love to be in another group.
Are there other options if we start looking sooner than later, or?
I usually start this process in November, December, and start putting the word out. And we start collecting that data. They want to know. We already start doing that within our school. We start sending them who's on and who's not. We start collecting all the information that we have currently, and we send it because they're not going to quote it until they see where we're at right now. They want to usually see our past data. They want to know what rates we're already getting, what rates we may have been given. Unfortunately, it's a pretty good game too, I'll be honest. It's a game I don't like to play. I am worried about the MEUH pool. We were one of the bigger districts in it. I haven't talked to one of the other ones I know is in it, and if they're going to drop out, that makes us really big. Makes us maybe a little bit more responsible, and so that scares me. I also know their executive director just left to become the DESI Finance Assistant Commissioner of Education. So that scares me. He was a superintendent for 30 plus years and didn't usually speak well, but when I look at what else other options I have, like I said, 10% is pretty good at this point in time when I look at the Met, which is another group that's actually backed by Gallagher Bassett, who actually backs our music, which is who we do for all of our insurance for our school district. And then OSBA is another one, probably 120, 130 districts around the state, but they're really centered around Southwest Missouri. We've tried for a couple years to get in them. Their problem is they usually make you do a buy-up for 2 years before you get their group rate. And effectively, that's what Met's doing here, is they're protecting their pool. So they're gonna rate you really high and bad, and you're gonna pay this to protect them and protect their group, and you would be stuck there for a couple of years, and then one of the other group would either catch up or you would fall down and get down to it. So, and then USI is kind of a different player. They do a lot of different stuff as far as construction insurance. They do all types of different things. They've got some pools set up, not a lot with schools, but they have a lot with counties, cities, and we were hoping maybe to jump in a bigger pool with 15,000, 20,000 lives that had cities and counties and those things, and we weren't able to do it. So, yeah.
Do we have visibility into what their structure is in terms of the financial backing? Like, do they have stop loss policies? Do they?
They do have a stop loss
Have
policy.
they blown through it? I mean,
They
like, what
have
did
hit the limit of it.
Okay.
Yeah. How much that cost us now. They are hoping that by moving, MAUHP is moving from Cigna to Aetna. They did not feel like they were very good partners with Cigna. There's, lack of a better word, kickbacks that MAUHP would get from them on insurance and things like that. They didn't feel like they were getting the full complement of those kickbacks that they could then use to reduce other things. They feel like that they're going to have a better system and a better partnership with Aetna, but it's I don't want to speak ill will of the insurance, but it's a world I don't want to live in. So
One thing, when you're switching like from a Cigna to an Aetna, that
Yeah.
I think would be something just to keep an eye out for the employees. It's not something you can really do anything about, but to be aware is when the drug formularies change,
Yes.
because they cover drugs differently. And so
Oh,
even
yeah.
though the premium looks like it only went up $13 or whatever, you could have much larger out-of-pocket costs for drugs.
it does.
So that would be something.
I don't
just
know, I shouldn't
for
say it does, because I
communication
don't know that it
purposes.
does right now, but I would say that's something that we see every time we move.
Right.
Sometimes we get better, sometimes we get worse. I feel fine about the Aetna network as a whole. Aetna, Cigna, United, Blue Cross, they're four of the biggest players in the United States, so I'm not worried about not being able to find people or find coverage or things like that, but I would agree 100% that you could have, there could be differences on formularies.
I just think that could be a real,
Yeah.
big, unexpected change in your out-of-pocket as an employee. And so just communication around that
Yep.
piece of it, because that would be something to make people aware of.
Once we get this approved, we'll start working with, getting all their information out. I think we have enrollment already scheduled. We already had a little see before, and we were just gonna cancel it if we end up changing. But we have our open enrollment will actually be towards the end of April. So we'll try to get that information out to staff so they can make the best decision for them that they want to do. But I would let the board know where we're at, the public know where we're at. So those obviously have big impacts on everybody. Not the best news, but like I said, the 10% for where we're at is actually probably the best news you could actually get. So,
What was your feedback from staff whenever things were mentioned?
I just talked to a small minority of staff. I met with them last Friday, and I just had a couple representatives from each building. I mean, nobody likes to hear that. Nobody likes to hear that that we're gonna spend more money on insurance and paying an assessment fee and doing those things, because like I said, we've got a pot of money. And when we spend money over here, we can't spend money in other places. So, not great news. I thought they handled it professionally though. Numbers don't lie, and when you get those type of numbers, I'll present the facts like they are, but I can't say I'm happy about it, ecstatic about it. Like I said, 10% would have been fine if I wouldn't have got a assessment that cost us $433,000. So
Do most of our employees take advantage of the health
we
plan,
cover
or-
around 250 lives, and that counts, employees, maybe spouses, kids, retirees, and so, we're about 250 lives, which is a little bit more than we have actually employed, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but counting retirees and like I said, family members, different things like that, so.
Questions?
But my recommendation is to go ahead and continue with MAUHP for next year.
So we need a motion for that.
I move that we go ahead and continue with MAUHP for 25-26.
Motion by Mrs. Ice,
Second.
second by Ms. Peck,
I'll be abstaining.
and then Ms. Clark is abstaining.
Abstaining.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Audit proposals.
Yeah, we went ahead and sent out to a couple different audit proposals. We've been using Clevenger and Associates, I think, since 2017, maybe 2016, I cannot remember. Before that, we actually used Westbrook and Company before that. I'm not sure how many years we used them, but they were here when I got here in 2011. We sent proposals to Westbrook, we've sent proposals to Clevenger and Associates, KPM, which is a company out of Springfield. They do quite a bit bigger districts. Clevenger, we're probably one of their biggest clients, but KPM actually does Park Hill, Fort Osage, St. Joseph School District, a lot of the bigger districts around Springfield, Branson, Nixa, Ozark, some of those. And then there was another one that we sent it to, and I cannot remember the name, I apologize, out of Chillicothe, one that other schools run. It may have been, I cannot remember the name, I'm sorry. They actually had contacted us, and so we'd send them a proposal. We never got one back. Westbrook was not able to get us on their schedule, so they declined to bid. Clevenger and Associates is around $10,000 to $11,000 is what we've been paying. And if you look at KPMs, they're quite a bit higher for the next 3 years. They're almost double. I'm assuming part of that is because they would travel and have to be put up in a hotel and everything else to do an audit. And so my recommendation is go ahead and stay with Clevenger. Right now that is just a 1 year, so that is something if we want we can look at next year. Earlier, maybe see if I can on those people's schedules, but we only had 2 when we put it out this year, so.
When did you usually start that?
We didn't start this till a little bit later. We didn't probably put anything out until March. And then I think we gave them to the beginning of April to give us something. So I would say if we do it next year, we want to do that as a board, we probably need to do that like November, December. So that maybe we see that sometimes it just depends on how big the firms are. KPM is a big firm. Westbrook is not a big firm, but so they may still be at their capacity. We don't know, but I would say for this next year, we stay with Clevenger Associates, and then we look at something earlier in the next year. So.
Yeah. It's probably, Clevenger's been doing the audit for several years now, and just different eyes for the purposes of an audit probably is a good idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea. That's why we switched from Westbrook. We've been with Westbrook for quite a while. We're getting on 6, 7, 8 years on Clevenger and Associates. I don't think it's a bad idea, so I will say they've been easy to work with, and we can just dump all of our stuff right into their database. But I would imagine almost everybody's probably in that boat now, so.
Any further discussion? Take a motion to approve Clevenger.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Early, second by Mr. Grenier. Further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, motion passes. All right. Any board member comments before we move on?
I had a couple. So I really wanted to thank the community for the support of the bond. It speaks loudly when we see the polling results come back and the election results. And I just know there was a lot of work from an outside committee that put into that to get that done, and I just appreciate the community support and putting kids first and all that comes with that, so thanks, appreciate that. I also want to recognize Dr. Robinson. We mentioned this earlier, I think maybe 2 meetings ago. Dr. Butek mentioned this, but Dr. Robinson did receive the MSBA Region, Northwest Region Award from NASA, and he also was recognized for his 25 years of in administration in the public school district. So, and then the other 2 things, just because I'm transitioning out of this, but graduation's coming up, so we'll be doing that together on the 16th, and then the summer summit is this summer, so. I think that's June 16th, 17th, and 18th. So I just wanted to mention those things. So, and I just want to thank the board for your support over the last 2 years as I tried to lead you. But although I sat in this, it is really a group effort. So we all do this together. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to wish the students and teachers good luck in these next few weeks. I know everyone's getting tired, and but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and just thank you and appreciate all that you do for our kids.
I would like to echo the thank you to the community for the resounding support of the bond. That signifies the recognition that this is an investment in the future of our community and our schools, and it's for the benefit of all the kids. And so we thank you for that. And also, I don't think I could have said it better than Mrs. Peck, but thank you to President, former President Ice. You did a fabulous job. Unwavering professionalism, compassion for staff and for students, and big shoes to fill. So
You'll do a great job. I really do.
Okay, so our next meeting is not a meeting, it's graduation, which will be May 16th at sunset, 8:26 p.m. And then the next Board of Education meeting will be closed session at 6 and open session at 7 on May 20th. So unless there's other business, I will take a motion to adjourn.
May I?
And I need a motion to go into closed session. Yeah, so moved. Under section 610.021, paragraph 3, for personnel. Moved by Ms. Clark,
Second.
second by Mr. Murphy. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
right. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to correct the record though, please.